Welcome to my Yoga Physiotherapy for the Pelvic Floor series. So the pelvic floor are the muscles that fill the inside of your pelvis. So here's your pelvis here. If you look from above down onto your pelvic floor are these muscles that fill the pelvis here. Those muscles move with breath in a certain way. So I'm going to teach you that so you can use those principles throughout the yoga practice. So here's my little drawing. So this is your abdomen here. So the whole area that contains your digestive tract, your belly button's in the middle. So this top curve, that's your respiratory diaphragm. And this bottom green curve, that's your pelvic floor. So as you breathe in, your respiratory diaphragm actually moves down, and that's so that your lungs can fill with air. What happens is your pelvic floor or your pelvic diaphragm also moves down. And that downward motion is actually a lengthening and relaxing movement of that pelvic floor. And then as you breathe out, the reverse happens. So as you breathe out, respiratory diaphragm comes up, air expels from the lungs, and your pelvic diaphragm moves up. So your pelvic floor moves up and it actually tightens a little bit as you breathe out. So I'll remind you of this several times throughout the practice. This practice is an intermediate level yoga for the pelvic floor. We'll be focusing on many different postures today. If anything is not feeling good for your body, or it's too tiring, or you lose your breath, always go out of that posture. Choose a restful posture that feels comfortable for you. Sitting, child's pose, anything like that. So I'm going to start our practice in sitting. So find a comfortable seat. Move your glute tissue out of the way of your sit bones. And just feel your body rooting into the ground. And I really want you to feel that your pelvis, so your two sit bones on the bottom of your pelvis, are really touching your mat or touching your chair if you're sitting on a chair. Just arrive into your body. Arrive into the space. I'll invite you to close your eyes. Just start checking in. Maybe just start by checking, are you really squinching your eyes tight? Or can you relax them a little bit more? Are you clenching your jaw? If so, place your tongue on the roof of your mouth. Keep your lips together and just allow your teeth to separate slightly. And once you've relaxed your jaw, bring your attention to the middle of your chest. Are you breathing into your chest? Can you expand your rib cage more with each inhale? And notice your abdomen. Your pelvis. Does it feel comfortable sitting on the mat? Does it feel uncomfortable? Notice your back too. And bring some awareness to your legs, your feet, your ankles. Maybe they're comfortable in this position, but maybe they're not. And then deepen your breath gently, trying to breathe into your lungs. creating a belly breath as you breathe all the way into your lungs. So big inhale all together. And sigh out. Inhale together. Sigh. One more. And then transition to kneeling. Sitting your sit bones onto your heels if you can. Put a pillow there if you need to, or you can still sit on the chair. Using that deep breath. Inhale. Expand your belly and exhale. And as you inhale, remember that downward motion of the pelvic floor associated. So breathing in, downward motion of the pelvic floor, and exhale. Breathing in, expanding your pelvic floor, and then breathing out. Breathing in, feeling the pelvic floor tissue lengthen between your sit bones, and breathing out. Inhale, see if you can widen your sit bones, and breathing out. Good. Inhale, really open up your sit bones, and breathe out. As you inhale this time, really think about opening your anus, allowing those muscles to drop lower, and exhale. Good. Inhale, arch your spine, look up, and exhale, round your spine, look down. You can do this in a chair, you can do it kneeling. Inhale, arch, look up. Exhale, rounding your spine, looking down. Inhale, lengthening pelvic floor. And exhale, allowing the pelvic floor to bounce back up. Inhale, really opening your sit bones, lengthening your pelvic floor. And exhale. Inhale, opening, lengthening. And exhale, rounding. Inhale, opening, lengthening. And exhale, rounding. Good. Come up onto your knees and place your right foot straight out beside you. Inhaling, sit back. Exhale, back to the beginning. Inhale, sit back. Exhale, back to the beginning. Really thinking about opening up your sit bones, lengthening your pelvic floor. And if it feels okay, bringing hands to heart center. Really opening, getting a little bit of heat in your bottom leg. And exhale, good. Inhale, sitting back. And exhale, returning to the beginning. Inhale, opening, lengthening the pelvic floor. Exhale. Two more, you're doing great. Last one. Switch sides. Right knee down, left leg out. Inhale, sit back. Exhale, return to the beginning. Inhale, sit back. Exhale, come to the beginning. Lengthen your pelvic floor as you inhale. Really thinking about opening your sit bones here. And exhale. Inhale, open sit bones, lengthen pelvic floor. Good, really building that heat now. If you need to pad under your knee with this one, feel free to throw a cushion under there, a pillow. Last two, inhale and exhale. One more, inhale, exhale, good. Moving to your hands and knees. Good. Arching, looking up, inhaling. And as you exhale, round your spine, angry cat. Inhale, arching, looking up. And exhale, rounding your spine, angry cat. Inhale, lengthen pelvic floor. Exhale, round. Inhale, think about opening your sit bones, lengthening your pelvic floor. Exhale. Inhale, opening your anus. Exhale, rounding. Inhale, opening, lengthening. Exhale, rounding. Good. After this exhale, come back to neutral. So you're on your hands and knees again. Don't lose your breath. Inhale to prepare. And then exhale, loop your right hand between your left leg and your left arm. Inhale, back up. Exhale, loop your other side. Inhale, back up. Exhale, threading the needle here. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Good. Exhale. Inhale, lengthen pelvic floor. Exhale, twist. Inhale, lengthen pelvic floor. Exhale, twist. Inhale, lengthen pelvic floor. Exhale, twisting. Beautiful work, everyone. Exhale, twist. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Exhale. Two more. Inhale, lengthen pelvic floor. Exhale, twist. Beautiful. So we're going to tuck our toes. Big breath in, lengthen pelvic floor. And then as you exhale, lifting your hips up towards the sky, downward facing dog. Pedal your feet out. This is your first one of the day. Trying to get some stretch of the hamstrings. Don't lose your breath here. Every inhale, you should try to really open your sit bones up towards the ceiling or towards the sky. And as you do that, as you breathe in, your pelvic floor should lengthen. We're going to start off with 5 slow flows. 1 big inhale and exhale. Good. Inhale to high plank. Exhale, lower your knees and lower your body. Inhale, cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Big inhale. Opening up your sit bones. Exhale. Good. On your next inhale, float to high plank. Lower your knees as you exhale. Lower your body down. Inhale, baby cobra. And then exhale, tucking your toes, downward facing dog. Inhale, lengthen pelvic floor. Opening your anus. Uncurling your tailbone towards the ceiling. Good. Inhale, float to high plank. Exhale, lower your knees, lower your body. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. 2 more of these. You're doing great. Big inhale, lengthen pelvic floor. Good. Inhale, float to high plank. Lower down on your knees or your whole body. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good. 1 more. You can lower from a high plank if you want, or keep lowering from your knees. Good. Inhale, float to high plank. Exhale, lower. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good. Inhale, lift your right foot high. And exhale, place your right foot between your right hands. As you inhale, really lengthen your pelvic floor here. Charge your back leg, so activate your quadricep on your back left leg. And then place your left palm onto the mat or onto a block if you need. Inhale, prepare. And then exhale, lift your right arm towards the ceiling, twisting, looking at your right hand. Don't lose your breath here. Good. 1 more breath cycle. Inhale. And then exhale, place your hand back down onto the mat. Bring your left knee down to the mat and untuck your toes. Bring your torso up. Pelvis should be pointing forwards towards your front of your mat. Make sure your glute muscle is squeezing on your left side. And don't let your back arch too much. Try to keep it as straight as you can. We should be getting a nice hip flexor stretch on the left side. Interlace your fingers, but keep your index fingers straight. Arms up towards the ceiling. Every inhale, really lengthen your pelvic floor, lengthen your torso, reaching towards the ceiling. One more big inhale. And then exhale, bring your hands back down to the mat. Lift your back leg, downward facing dog. Inhaling, lengthening pelvic floor towards the ceiling. And exhale. Inhale, lift your left leg high. Exhale, place it between your hands. Really charge up your back leg, lengthening your pelvic floor as you inhale. And place your right palm down onto the mat as you twist open, looking towards the ceiling, looking towards your left hand, reaching up towards the sky. Try not to lose your breath, and try not to lose your pelvic floor movement with breath here. Really trying to lengthen that pelvic floor as you inhale. One more breath cycle, inhale. And as you exhale, bring your left hand back down to the mat. Let your right knee come down to the mat, untuck your toes, and then bring your trunk up. Again, make sure you're squeezing your glute on the right side, and you're not letting your lower back arch. Interlace your fingers, keeping your index finger free. Reach high towards the sky. Hip flexor stretch on this side. Really lengthening your pelvic floor as you inhale. Good. Inhale to prepare. And then exhale, bringing your hands back to the mat, untucking your toes and stepping your left foot back to meet your right, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your right leg high. And then exhale, place your right foot between your hands. Turn your back foot to be parallel with the perpendicular length of your mat. And then windmill your arms up. Make sure your right knee is bent, left leg is straight. Make sure your trunk is not twisted, so try to stack your shoulders over your pelvis and then gaze over your right hand. Really trying to lengthen your pelvic floor as you inhale here. And just notice how it's more challenging. Good. Straighten your front knee. Turn your right foot to be parallel with your left. Bring your hands to your hips. Inhale, lengthen pelvic floor. And then as you exhale, hinge at your hips, keeping your back straight. Feeling a hamstring stretch. Keeping your hands on your pelvis. Inhale, really lengthening your pelvic floor. Just noticing how this pull feels on the back of your pelvis, on your sit bones. See if you can really lengthen at the back of your pelvic floor as you do this. So think about opening your anus, uncurling your tailbone, and separating your sit bones. 3 more breaths. Good. Slowly stand back up. Turn your right foot to point forward and sink back into that warrior. Inhale, lengthen pelvic floor. Exhale, windmill your arms back down and step your right foot to meet your left, downward facing dog. Good. Inhale, lift your left leg high, and exhale, place your left foot between your hands. Turn your right foot to be perpendicular to the length of your mat. Windmill your arms up. Sink into your left knee, ensure your knee is not collapsing in. Make sure you're not arching through your lower back, so rib cage over your pelvis. Right leg straight. Gaze over your left hand. Sink as low as you can comfortably here. And then as you breathe, really focus on lengthening your pelvic floor. Good. Straighten your left knee. Turn your left foot to parallel your right. Hands on your hips again. Inhale, lengthen pelvic floor. And then exhale, hinge forwards. When you get to that stopping point, you can start to gently round your spine, reaching for the ground. You might tent your fingers, you might not quite reach. You might put your hands flat and you might even go lower. Whatever feels comfortable for your body. The key here is you don't lose the breath and you keep trying to open up those sit bones. Open up your anus as you inhale. Two more breaths. Good. Charge your core up. Draw your belly button towards your spine. Bring your hands back to your hips and then stand fully to rise. Turn your left foot so go straight towards the room, back into warrior. Inhale, lengthen pelvic floor. Exhale, windmill your arms back to your mat. Step your left foot to meet your right. Inhale, reach your right foot high, and then turn your trunk so you're actually twisting towards the right hand side, opening up the right side of your body. Good. Inhale, come back to the center. Place your right knee by your right wrist and your right foot by your left wrist. We're going to come down into pigeon pose. Resting your left knee down onto the mat, untucking your toes. Inhaling here, really lengthening the pelvic floor towards the mat and trying to get your sit bone on the right hand side towards the mat. And then nice and gently, if you can, come down onto your forearms. If that's not available to you, you could do it on a block or you could just keep your arms straight. And then if you can, resting your hand down onto your hands or onto the mat. Feeling that nice deep stretch on your right glute and your right hip rotator muscles. So this should be on the back side of your hip. And just notice how it feels to try to lengthen that pelvic floor with your breath now. If you're on your forearms, start to straighten your arms. And then tuck your left toes and step your right foot to meet your left. Downward facing dog, 2 breaths here. Good. Inhale, lifting your left leg high and then opening up your pelvis. So turning to the left-hand side. Inhale, coming back to center. And exhale, placing your left knee by your left wrist, left foot by your right wrist, resting your right knee down onto the mat, untucking your toes. Pause here for a second, really lengthening your pelvic floor as you inhale. Trying to sit your left sit bone towards the mat. And then if it's available, come down onto your forearms and onto your forehead. If not, just stay high. As you're stretching out the back part of your pelvis, the muscles that attach on the outside of your pelvis, you should be able to really feel that stretch through the back of the pelvic floor. Breathe into that and let those muscles soften. And if you're on your forearms, come back up to your arms. Tuck your right foot. Step your left foot to meet your right, downward facing dog. Inhale, lifting your hips high. Exhale. Inhale, look between your hands, and exhale, walk your feet between your hands. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Heel toe your feet to the width of your mat. And inhale, straighten your legs. And then exhale, drop into a squat, yoga squat. Pressing your palms together, stretching your knees apart. Inhale, lengthen pelvic floor. And then exhale, straighten your legs. Inhale, lengthen pelvic floor, open your knees. And then exhale, placing palms down, straightening your legs. Inhale, sitting down towards the mat in a squat. And exhale, straightening your legs out. Good. As you inhale, really think about opening up your sit bones, lengthening your pelvic floor muscles. And then as you exhale, just pushing your legs straight. Inhale, really open your anus, uncurl your tailbone. And then exhale, straightening your legs. If you want to feel that pelvic floor movement, touch your perineum. So inhale, touch right in between your sit bones and feel that downward motion. And then as you exhale, straighten your legs. 2 more. Inhale, really feel that downward motion of the pelvic floor. Exhale. Inhale, sitting down. Exhale, landing onto your mat, lying flat on your back. Good. Inhale, Hug your right knee towards your chest. Don't lose that pelvic floor movement. And release your right leg so your foot is flat on your mat. And then reach your left hand towards the outside of your right knee. And bring your right knee over to the left side of your mat. So you're twisting. From this twist, open your right arm up into a T and look over your right shoulder towards your right fingertips. We're getting a bit more of a twist of the lower back now, so only go as far as you feel comfortable. And if you feel a pinch in your hip on the right side, just don't bend your knee so far. Good. Slowly start to untwist. Release your right leg straight and then hug your left knee towards your chest. Release your left knee, placing your left foot down on the mat, reaching with your right hand for your left knee, and then twisting to the right now. So rotating through your lower back, reach your left arm out towards the left side of the room in a T, looking with your eyes towards your fingertips and enjoying this twist. Again, if you feel pinching in the front of your hip, just don't bend your knee quite so far. Try not to lose your breath here. Slowly start to untwist. And then hug both your knees to your chest. If it feels good for you, you could rock side to side if you'd like. Or you can just stay still. Again, if it pinches at the front of your hips, just don't hug your knees quite so tight. And then inhale, really lengthen your pelvic floor. And as you exhale, reach your legs straight towards the ceiling. Inhaling, lengthening your pelvic floor, separating your sit bones as you inhale. You can even reach down to your sit bones and pull gently. Pull them open gently. 3 more breaths here. How's your breath? Good. Bend your knees, placing your feet onto the mat. Feet hip width apart. Dig your heels into the mat and lift your pelvis off the mat, clenching your glute muscles. So as you inhale, see if you can lengthen your pelvic floor just slightly. And exhale. You won't be able to fully relax the pelvic floor here. Doing a counter movement to the legs up. 2 more breaths. Vertebrae by vertebrae, lower your pelvis down, rolling your spine, and then rolling your pelvis onto the mat. Lengthen your legs out, spreading them as wide as you'd like, and then palms up, arms splayed as wide as you'd like, whatever feels comfortable. If you've cooled off, you could always grab a blanket or a sweater. We're going to do 3 more big deep breaths together. Really focusing on that pelvic floor movement. So here we go. Inhale, lengthen. Inhale, lengthen. Sigh. And then just allow your body to fall into a natural rhythm of breath and sink into your mat. Try and keep your mind from wandering. And you can stay in this final posture of Savasana for as long as you would like. You've earned it. Thank you so much for joining me today for a beautiful practice. Namaste.